In the heart of Riverton, a bustling river city known for its steel mills and hidden fortunes, the opulent Crystal Falls Pavilion shimmered under a canopy of twinkling lights. It was the grandest affair the town had witnessed in years. A wedding reception that drew the elite from boardrooms and country clubs alike. Laughter mingled with the clink of fine china, and a live jazz ensemble wove soft melodies through the air. Waitstaff in crisp uniforms wove between velvet-draped tables, offering flutes of sparkling wine and delicate hors d'oeuvres. Elena Grant perched at the bridal table, her elegant ivory gown hugging her frame like a second skin. She was the picture of poise, exchanging polite smiles and gracious thanks with a parade of well-wish. Yet beneath it all, a quiet unease gnawed at her. Her new husband, Marcus Hale, cut a dashing figure in his tailored black suit, his broad shoulders and easy charisma lighting up the room. He glided from guest to guest, trading handshakes with the men and warm embraces with the women, his deep voice carrying over the hum of conversation. Victor's empire, built on a sprawling network of beverage distribution, had found its perfect alliance in this union. Elena's father, Victor Grant, presided over the head table like a monarch, his salt and pepper hair framing a face etched with quiet triumph. Sharp-eyed and commanding, he nodded approvingly at the proceedings, his gaze occasionally sweeping toward Elena, with the satisfaction of a deal sealed. To him, she was the dutiful eldest daughter, the one who'd always toed the line, making this merger not just business, but destiny. Beside him sat her younger sister Leela, a vision in a sleek emerald gown that turned heads. Leela toyed with her fork, her boredom evident as she cast lingering looks toward Marcus. Elena had grown accustomed to those glances. Leela had always coveted what was hers, from childhood dolls to high school admirers. But tonight, Marcus seemed oblivious, or so Elena hoped. The evening's host, a charismatic MC imported from the coast, called for the groom's toast. Marcus strode to the center of the polished oak floor, microphone in hand, and the room hushed in anticipation. His smile was radiant, though it skipped over Elena entirely. "Esteemed guests, cherished kin," he intoned, his voice smooth as aged whiskey. "Tonight, I stand as the luckiest soul in Rivet. I've bound my fate to the Grant legacy, a circle I've admired for a full decade. A decade." The word hung heavy. Elena's pulse quickened. She'd known Marcus for precisely that long, since he'd joined the family firm, fresh from university. Their courtship had been brief, sparked just months ago by Victor's endorsement of him as a rising star. No whispers of hidden passions had ever surfaced. Through trials and triumphs, one truth has burned bright in my soul, a profound, unspoken devotion. Murmurs of delight rippled through the crowd. Elena's throat tightened. Marcus's eyes locked not on her, but on Lila. "And so, on this pivotal night, I declare it openly. This opening dance, the first step of our shared journey, honors the woman who's held my heart for 10 years. The band eased into a languid waltz. Elena rose instinctively, her gown whispering against the floor, expecting his hand, but Marcus swept past her, mere inches away, his cologne a fleeting sting of betrayal. He extended his arm to Lila, who rose with a knowing grace, her expression blooming into victory. They glided to the floor's heart, bodies sinking in effortless rhythm. The applause began tentatively, then swelled like a tide. Guests mistook it for a heartfelt sibling tribute, cooing over the adorable family moment. Elena sank back into her chair, the golden chandelier light now a mocking halo. Her father's clap joined the din, his face alight with feigned delight. Marcus's back was to her, Leela's cheek nestled against his shoulder. She was invisible, a mere prop in their charade. Rage simmered, then crystallized into resolve. 2 months prior, Victor had cornered her in his study, his tone brooking no dissent. "You will wed Whole. It's imperative. He carries a burden that could drag us all under if mishandled. You're the anchor, Elena, the bond that secures it all." She'd complied, as always, but now, with the vows exchanged and the veil torn, she saw the truth. She'd been expendable. The music swelled on, but Elena moved with purpose. She claimed a fresh glass of wine and approached Victor, her steps measured through the sea of skirts and tuxedos. Guests parted, puzzled by the bride's solitary march. The waltz faltered as she halted before her father. He ceased clapping, his eyes narrowing in irritation. "Father," she said, her voice cutting through the hush like a blade, amplified as the band trailed off, with Marcus openly declaring his love for Leela. "Does that absolve the $850,000 liability you compelled me to marry him to conceal?" Silence crashed down, absolute and suffocating. A spoon clattered against porcelain, echoing like a gunshot. Eyes swiveled from Elena to Victor, to the frozen dancers. Marcus gagged, doubling over in a fit of coughs, his face purpling. Leela recoiled, her triumph shattering into terror. She clawed at her throat, breaths coming in ragged gasps, before crumpling to the floor in a faint. Chaos erupted. Shouts pierced the air. Chairs scraped as guests surged forward. Victor bellowed for a physician and an ambulance, vaulting the table to reach Leela. Marcus staggered after, still hacking. Paramedics arrived swiftly, wheeling Lila out on a gurney, her form limp under the flashing lights. Marcus vanished in their wake. Elena stood rooted, wineglass untouched in her grip, watching the frenzy with hollow detachment. Victor whirled on her as the doors swung shut, his fury a storm. He gripped her arm bruisingly. "You short-sighted fool," he snarled low. "You've shattered us all." He shoved her aside and stormed out, leaving her adrift in the wreckage. The pavilion emptied in waves of awkward goodbyes, stares lingering like accusations. Servers cleared platters of uneaten delicacies in silence. Elena draped a shawl over her gown and slipped into the night, the chill biting through her shock. A taxi idled curbside. She recited the address of the luxury penthouse Victor had deeded her, and Marcus as a wedding gift their supposed haven. The drive blurred city lights into streaks, Riverton's neon veins pulsing indifferently. At the high-rise, the doorman nodded curtly, but her key jammed in the lock, twisted futilely. It mocked her. Someone Marcus or Victor's aides had changed it already, erasing her in hours. Her phone buzzed. "Victor, where are you?" His tone was glacial, transactional. "Outside my home. The one I can't enter. It's not yours anymore, nor your position at the warehouse. Effective immediately. You're terminated for the scandal's stain on our name. Accounts frozen, every cent linked to the firm. Stay silent. This ends now." The call died. She slid down the wall, gown pooling like spilled milk, penniless and unmoored. Desperation clawed. She dialed Harlan, Victor's veteran advisor, who'd doted on her since girlhood. His reply was curt, "Busy, Elena, later." Click, next. Mrs. Ellis, her late mother's confidant, who ended the call mid-plea, then blocked her. Exiled, she recalled a forbidden shadow. Her aunt, Beatrice, Victor's estranged elder sibling, banished from family lore 2 decades back. She's venom, Victor had decreed. Now, venom was salvation. Rain began as she trudged from the tower, her heels sinking into puddles, gown sodden and streaked. Pedestrians gawked at the drenched bride haunting the sidewalks. 2 miles blurred into 4. She reached the ivy-choked bungalow on the city's fringe, lights glowing like a beacon. Beatrice answered the door, tall and angular, silver streaks in her bun, framing piercing hazel eyes. Victor's features softened by wisdom. She scanned Elena's disheveled state without flinching. "I figured one of Victor's girls would wise up eventually. Inside, before you freeze." The home was modest, scented with chamomile and aged paper. Beatrice handed over a towel and robe. Hot cider steamed on the scarred oak table. "He cast you aside." Then Elena nodded, recounting the dance, the question, the collapse. Beatrice's laugh was wry. "You think it's about Marcus's debt, child?" Victor's tales run deep. That sum 850,000 wasn't his. It was Leela's. Elena's breath hitched. Beatrice leaned in. "Your sister's wild street jets to coastal casinos, lavish sprees piled up with loan sharks. Victor couldn't tarnish his golden child, so he orchestrated this. Marcus, ambitious but cash-strapped, got the wipe. Marry you, the steady one, to bind him to the fold. You were the price, the lock on the vault." Betrayal layered upon betrayal. Elena was no scorned wife, but a pawn shielding Leela's sins. Beatrice slid a weathered brass key across the table. "Your mother wasn't blind. She armed you for this. Start by claiming your strength." The key opened a modest flat in the historic Wharf District, a secret retreat her mother, Lydia, had squirreled away from Victor's grasp, a haven of quiet rebellion. Beatrice had sustained it post Lydia's passing. Anticipating need, Elena crashed at Beatrice's that night, mind churning through the abyss. Dawn brought borrowed jeans, a woolen top, and bus fare. Riverton unfurled outside the grimy window, the park of childhood picnics, the bistro of early dates with Marcus, the hulking silhouette of Grant Beverages, her 16-year devotion now revoked. The flat was a time-capsule dust-veiled sofa, oak desk by sash windows overlooking the lazy river. A wall calendar stalled on the month Lydia died, A decade passed. Elena's search yielded nothing at first. Sparse wardrobe, orderly shelves. The desk's lowest drawer resisted the key. Probing the calendar's edge revealed a taped, spare small, precise. It yielded a stout journal, emerald-bound, discrepancy register. Distribution wing 4. Pages chronicled Lydia's final years, dates, shipment codes, beverages logged as faulty lemonade batches with faulty seals. Ginger ales below purity specs officially scrapped, but rerouted, sold discreetly to R. Keller. Partial to V. Grant. Entry after entry. Thousands of cases diverted for black market cash. Tax dodges masked as philanthropy. Victor hadn't just skimmed, he'd laundered flaws into donations for orphanages and shelters, claiming credits while peddling subpar stock. This was dynamite embezzlement, endangerment, but proof needed voices. Elena recalled Theo Lang, grizzled warehouse chief since her infancy, who'd sparred with Victor over ethics, earning grudging retention for his unmatched savvy. Theo revered Lydia, often sighing. She had spined. His phone rang twice. Lang here, Theo. Elena Grant. A beat. Heard the mess. Tough break. I found mother's records. They expose father's side schemes diverting bad product for years. She pitched the meat. A crowded rail yard. Neutral ground. Theo arrived, jittery, scanning shadows. Spit it out. She proffered the journal. He waved it off, eyes wild. Can't touch it, Elena. Victor just bumped me to oversight, ledger seat, triple pay. Family needs the security. Regret it, but no. He melted into the throng, severing her final tie to integrity. DeFay pinned her to a bench amid rumbling trains, until a transit officer roused her. Miss, you've been here hours. Safe, back at Beatrice's. Elena unloaded, her aunt's jaw set. Victor's playbook, crush foes, co-opt allies via leveraged debts, illnesses. Theo's trapped, not turned. But there's another who loathes him deeper. Ronan Fisk. Beatrice described Ronan, once Riverton's fiercest reporter, undone, 5 years prior. He'd probed Victor's school supply contract-stainted drinks, took hits until Victor framed him for extortion, planted emails, false alibis. Ronan's career imploded. Even allies abandoned him. Now, he scraped by, scripting flyers for a dingy ad shop, Pixel Forge. The basement layer reeked of ink and regret. Ronan, gaunt with shadowed eyes and unkempt beard, hunched over a flickering screen. Ad copy, half off for shine jobs. Ronan Fisk. Elena Grant. I need aid against my father. He snorted at her name. Grant Spawn. Pass one haze roast was plenty. I know his sabotage on you, and here's evidence of factory fraud. The journal thumped down. Ronan skimmed, dismissive, tax slips. He'll cry fake, paint you the bitter ek, walk away. Despair flared. Elena jabbed pages. Pattern, last Friday monthly. Massive disposals. Ronan paused, flipping intently. End of cycle dumps. He rummaged his archivides of clippings and October, a decade back. Victor beaming, at a youth center ribbon cut. Grant beverages gifts, safe sips to needy kids. Ledger match, faulty lemonades. Donated, November, shelter aid, ginger ales scrapped. December, schoolfest, same tainted stock. His face strained. Not waste-poisoned charity. Tax perks on garbage fed to the vulnerable. This is criminal. Fire reignited in his gaze. I'm in. We'll bury him. A alert pinged. Local news flash. Victor's outlet splashed Marcus and Leela, arm in arm by the company sign. Grins wide. True hearts unite. Grant Beverages elevates. Marcus Hale post-null vows to spiteful ex. The piece vilified Elena, a fabricated debt tale from a jealous harpy who'd ambushed her kin out of envy. Quotes painted Leela as the pure victim, Marcus the dutiful hero, Elena the unstable schemer. Sources whispered of her lifelong resentment toward vibrant Leela. They're rewriting you as the monster, Ronan said grimly. Preemptive strike, Beatrice confirmed. Whispers poisoned the town. At a corner market, old neighbor Mrs. Hale averted eyes, fleeing across traffic. The clerk at the apothecary, once chatty about her nuptials, thrust change like filth. Murmurs trailed, that Grant witch, sabotaging her own blood. Elena returned to Ronan's, resolve hardening. We need ties to Lila and Marcus Bruce. They colluded. Staring at the photo, Elena's eye snagged on Lila's throat, a choker of midnight pearls laced with onyx drops, encircled by seed pearls. Magnify that. Close up Elena's blood eyes. It was Lydia's heirloom brooch. Midnight's sigh vanished the day she died. Beatrice verified. voice leaden. Gone from her vanity that fatal afternoon, the day Marcus started, the day their love ignited, threads converged, theft as foundation. Elena stormed back to the flat, scouring anew. In Lydia's woolen overcoat, a seam hid a slim volume, her private journal. Entries unfurled the nightmare. August, Victor raging over Leela's Vegas tabs, vowing to shield her. September, dinner with Marcus, Victor hawking Elena as prime mate while Leela flirted shamelessly. He's auctioning one child to bail the other. Worse, Lydia eavesdropping Leela, pitching the donation ruse to Victor, turn trash to treasure, dad, write-offs and glory. Lydia confronted, they dismissed her as outdated. October built to dread, overheard Leela and Marcus plotting. She snagged my brooch for dates. Victor threatens asylum if I speak. Final entry, quivering script, ultimatum, issued confess, or I alert authorities with ledger copies. Leela agreed to meet tonight. Uneasy, tucked inside, a druggist slip days prior. Lydia's cardiac meds, listed. Note, Leela insisted on fetching refill. Odd insistence. Fear grips me. Puzzle locked. Threat met with sabotage. No mere, detaclala, tampered, swapping pills for fakes or worse. Manslaughter, if not murder, by a daughter's hand. Elena's world steadied into steel. With Ronan, she pieced the exposed journal, ledger, clippings, receipt, anonymous tips to regulators, then a rival paper. Ronan's old network stirred. A forensic accountant verified diversions. Health inspectors tested archives donated by Chester Coxon's confirmed. The storm broke midweek. Ronan's article hit. Grant Beveridge's toxic legacy, fraud, endangerment, and a mother's silenced warning. Details scorched, diverted poisons to the needy, tax scams, Lydia's records exposing all, the brooch theft linked Marcus and Leela's affair, inception, the receipt screamed foul play. Victor lawyered up, but cracks showed. Leela cracked first, tearful confession to tampering, just to quiet her threats, bargaining for leniency. Marcus flipped, detailing Victor's coercion and cover-ups. Victor faced embezzlement, endangerment charges, Lila manslaughter. Marcus, conspiracy. Riverton reeled, Victor's throne crumbling in indictments and asset freezes. Elena testified, voice unwavering, her mother's legacy, her shield. Beatrice stood sentinel, the family rift mended in truth's forge. Months later, Elena stood on the wharf flat's balcony, river breeze fresh, the firm reformed under ethical oversight. She'd launched a consultancy, aiding whistleblowers. Ronan co-authored her memoir, their bond a quiet alliance. No vengeance lingered only rebirth. Lydia's tools had not just exposed shadows, they'd forged light from ruin. As dusk painted the water gold, Elena whispered to the wind, "We won, Mom." And in that peace, Riverton whispered back,